this is the current model that we've been using. You'll probably find some older ones as well, but this is kind of going to be the standard model soon. What I'll probably start out with is showing you the different parts and how they come apart, and then I'll kind of tell you how it works and what order to check things if there's a problem. First thing is, this is a duplexing printer, so that means it flips the paper over so that you can print on both sides, and that is done in this. It pops out just like that. Let me turn this around so you guys over here can see. You basically lift it up and pull out. A lot of jams occur in the duplexer. You look in here, there's little holes you can kind of see if there's a piece of paper stuck in there. You can try to pull it out. So that's how that flips it over. Behind the duplexer, you have a fuser. The fuser fuses the ink or toner to the paper because it comes out of the toner cartridge as a powder. This is the toner cartridge. I might as well cover that while I talk about it. What it does is there's a gap here. The laser shoots into here, into this green roller, and that is a photosensitive drum, and the toner sticks to that, lays it down onto the paper, and then the fuser heats it up and kind of melts it into the paper so that it doesn't wipe off when you get the paper out. This is why the paper is hot when it comes out right out of the printer. If you see people getting print jobs where the writing is just wiping right off the paper, it's not sticking to it, it is usually because the fuser has burned out. The way you get to the fuser is you push your finger in here and you kind of bend this little plastic and it kind of pops out. And there's two levers, blue here and here, and you get the fuser out. Now, do not touch this. There's a warning on it. This gets really hot. It's like a big incandescent light bulb. And when fusers go bad, you will see when you flip this open, there will be silver showing up in here as the membrane starts falling apart, and you'll start seeing pieces of chunks of like rubbery. It looks almost like the old Mylar balloons, Happy Birthday. It's kind of that silver. It'll look like chunks of that coming out with papers. People if they start saying that, hey, I saw some silver stuff coming out, that's usually this is falling apart, and it's a bad fuser. Really simple to replace. A lot of jams occur when that starts happening too. It'll be working okay, but jams are happening a lot. Sometimes it's caused by that fuser coming apart. To replace it, you just snap it until you hear the little clicks, and then it's in. The paper path, I will show. I'll turn it around so you guys can see that. Plastic clicks like it's going to break a lot, so don't be worried about that. It's not breaking, it just sounds like that. These are pretty simple to work on. The newer printers are really nice for that. The paper tray is another source of a lot of paper jams and people not being able to print. One of the things that you'll probably get a call at least a few times on is when I print, it says it's the wrong paper size, and I have to press any key, and then when it comes out, it jams, and it won't. I have to restart it, and then it keeps happening. Well, the reason for that is on the paper tray itself, you have to tip it up a little bit to pull it completely out. On the paper tray itself, there is an adjustment with these blue tabs. You can adjust it to different sizes. When people slam these things in, it kind of knocks it loose a little bit. And so it's telling the printer that this size paper is not what it actually is. So as it comes through the machine, the sensors are saying, hey, this is the wrong size. I'm not expecting this. And so that it has what they call a paper late jam. it doesn't say Paperlate here, it just says jam. You know, please clear the paper out. There's no paper in there to clear, but it won't print anymore. And that's usually what that is. You just kind of adjust it to the proper size. It'll kind of, you know, just when it looks like it's sitting right with the paper, nice and even. This sideways one can happen too. That's not nearly as common that it gets out of adjustment. It's usually this one, and it's from slamming it in, because people get a full stack of pages and then they really want to ram it in, and it kind of pushes it because paper's heavy. Another thing that you'll see happen, and this is, I find this in the dorms more often. The dorm labs, these things get broken off when people are loading papers, and this paper pickup roller needs that to kind of push against the paper to lift it up, because there's a set of rollers here and up inside of here that they squeeze the paper, they send it up through. If it doesn't have this, it'll kind of pull the paper crooked. I think I'm going to pass around the parts, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll start with that. That's the toner cartridge. The green thing inside is the photosensitive drum. This is the duplexer. And the fuser. Did you guys want to see the paper tray up close? I suppose I can hand that to you as well. For network issues, these newer ones are really nice. They have a link light on them. The network port here has nice green blinky lights. That is really handy to know if the jack is even alive, if there's even anything hooked up to the other end of it. If you see nothing there, you know that it's not going to get any information. So usually that comes from somebody moving. They wanted to remodel or reorganize their office, and they moved the printer. They didn't contact ITS for whatever reason. The jack wasn't live, and now it doesn't work. That's what happened there. I'll have to turn it on to do a test page. Do you want me to show them how to do a test page?
Do all of you know how to print a test page off the printer?
You guys
The configuration?
Yeah.
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 So that tells you basically that the printer itself is working. One thing that there's an error that's I think it's, what is it, 49C3, I believe, is it comes up on the page. It tells you to start, shut it off, turn it on again. Try unplugging the network cable and see if it'll just do a config page. If it does that, there's nothing wrong with the printer itself. It's a job that somebody sent, and it's choking on it for whatever reason. So you've got to find out where that job is, clear it out, and then it should work. Another, I didn't bring any worn out rollers. Another thing to check is, if you look at, when I was passing this around, I probably should have told you. If you notice, the roller itself had like a little bit of a texture to it. When they're worn out, they look smooth, and that'll cause paper jams as well, because they're not picking up the paper very well. So as long as you see some texture on there, it's okay. But if you see it's really smooth, just go ahead, update the ticket, say, hey, the pickup rollers look really smooth, and we'll just swap them out. They're cheap. And we kind of try to do that as preventative maintenance. Anytime we visit one, if it looks worn, we check that. But if you guys see one like that, feel free to tell us about it. Any other questions? Any questions at all? All right.
Yeah, I haven't done the fuser.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've taken the fuser before.
Yeah.
Actually, can you go over just the fuser part? Like, how do you take it out? I don't see where you.
Sure. If you look at the fuser, and it's in place, these two blue buttons here, if you put your thumb on here and here, push up, and they just pull out. It has like a little bit of a shelf, so it kinda, you have to lift it up a little bit as you pull it in and out.
Okay. Because I've tried pulling it out and those two things wouldn't do it, so I think I just didn't lift it up.
Yeah, you have to kinda, if you see I tilt it up just a hair like that, and it just slides out, and there's a plug on this side, so it's a little stiff as it comes out, you have to kinda jerk it a little bit.
With the fuser, you wanna be careful not to touch the roller part, cause
This
it's
part here
hot.
gets really
It'll
hot.
burn you really bad, so don't
Yep.
touch that.
Yeah, it's pretty warm.